Introducing managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live. Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway, happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. I'm about to get this morning workout in, talk to you all a little bit, and then get my day started with my family. Hey! Ay, 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 ay. Good morning to you. Oh. Patriot, what's up, man? How are you? Yeah, I had to have the torpedo heater blasting for a while, and then I had to run the two heaters to keep up with it for a little bit, and then once I got it to somewhat warm, decent temperature in the garage, I was able to shut it down. I'm letting this heater over by the garage door cool off, and I'm just gonna run the one over in the distance. But man, you're right, it got freaking cold, man. It's been a long time since I've had to run all three heaters at one time just to get the garage warm. And then I noticed that the battery in the floor gave me a warning with me having that Ansel battery monitor on it. It did not like the way it started yesterday, so when it started, I didn't put it into self-test mode, but it can do it on its own if it detects a problem. And when I went to go start the truck, it actually gave me a warning and said, be careful with your battery because your cranking was not sufficient. It was kind of like lacking. Which I told you guys that the battery in that truck is the original battery that came in that truck when I bought it, like what, 4 years ago or something when I bought it. And that battery is like five years old, 6 years old. So it's about time for it to go. So I probably should just go ahead and, like preventative maintenance wise, just go ahead and change it out, because if I keep getting warning messages to where it's dipping down pretty low overnight, that and every once in a while, if I'm gonna end up getting like a cranking error during the wintertime when it's even colder than now, it's probably time to just go ahead and change it. There's a man who's running against J.B. Pritzker, Ted Dabrowski. Check him out, Republican, and he knows our financial issues and other things we're dealing with. Well, you know what? Pritzker and Johnson, man, they are just, the more time passes with these guys, the more these guys just look absolutely ridiculous, man. Listening to them talk yesterday, whenever Johnson was talking and he was doing his speech and stuff like that, he just sounded like an idiot. He sounded like he was trying to blame everything on the jails and the police and racism and bigotry. And that's just always their general go-to when they don't make sense, when they're just trying to make excuses for specific races doing a specific amount of crime. And he's like calling police racist and calling the judicial system racist, but then at the same time saying that it's not doing enough, it's not protecting enough. He does see that there is shortcomings and that the legal system does need to be worked on, but then on the other hand can turn around and criticize the very people that are trying to do their job that he doesn't let do their job. So it always seems like he's two-faced when he's speaking, and it always seems like counterproductive, any of the stuff that he talks about or tries to come up with. So I'm confused on where this guy's mind is at. 1 minute, it's the system. Next minute, yeah, it is falling apart and it does need to be fixed. And then it's back to bigotry and racism. And it's like, dude, those same talking points are wore out. They don't even mean the same thing anymore. You could literally call somebody racist now and it means absolutely shit because it's been used and bastardized so much that who cares anymore at this point? It's just thrown around so easy. The bigotry word has been thrown around so easy. Narcissist, it's been thrown around so many times. It's like Everybody's a narcissist in their own way. Stop misusing it. Everybody has a little bit of narcissism in them, some way, shape, or form. All of us do. Regardless if we want to believe it or not, we all do. Stop abusing these terms. I don't know. Listening to him talk yesterday, it just made me want to just take my head and just ram it into the wall over and over again, because he just sounded like a complete idiot. The doctor said that I was doing really good. He said, you're down another 12 pounds. You're doing excellent. Don't change anything about the way what you're doing. And that was just 2.5 weeks ago that I checked in with him. We did an early check-in because of the holidays, and he's going to be on vacation when I'm supposed to go back. So we did an early check-in, and he was like, wow, man, another 12 pounds down. You are just doing amazing. Just keep doing it. Don't change anything. Stay on track. You're absolutely killing this, and you're going to be one of my success stories. That made me feel really good. How about ACLU or ACL? I don't know what you mean by that. Good morning. Have a blessed Thanksgiving. You and your family stay warm, be safe. Absolutely, you as well. Adriana Gutierrez, appreciate you being here. Good morning and happy Thanksgiving. Mr. K. Lenning, you as well. Good morning, all. Happy Thanksgiving from Quick Wrench. You too, brother. It's not my ACL. It was never my ACL. It was my It's not that it wasn't my ACL. If you're talking about the newest, most major problem that I was trying to fix, a real man puts his tools first and his family second. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Can you explain that? I mean, that might be a motivational term or something that I'm just not aware of, or I'm not sure what that means, because, yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Please explain. No, the ACL, it's weak in my left knee, but the more weight I lose, tools are for work that makes money. You said a real man puts his tools first, so that means a real man puts his money first and his family second. That's kind of what you're saying there. I don't understand that thought process. It kind of seems sadistic and like backwards, ass backwards. See, even Patriot thought the same thing. Like you're saying it completely backwards. Good morning, Hector. Good morning. Fly Corvus, good morning. So, anyhow, the doctor, the ACL was never really the problem. Yes, the ACL is weak in the left knee because I had it replaced like 16 years ago. But the issue is the kneecap. The kneecap is not riding completely up and down, dead center of the knee. It wants to shift off to the left and then cause a binding sensation. So they wanted me to go through physical therapy, and physical therapy has done really good. It's really strengthened the muscles in that area to make things better. Is it perfect? No, it still tries to lock up at times when I'm walking, but there's no pain anymore. And I know what to do now to get out of the situation instead of hurting myself. So, yeah, I've been going through physical therapy for weeks now. Well, even going back to work. My last appointment was supposed to be this Wednesday, but with the holidays and everything like that, I told them I really wanted to cancel the appointment and just make it for next week because it's my last appointment. I passed all my progress tests and stuff with it, so they said that I have one more and then they're going to release me. They call it graduating. Morning. It's been a while. Had to take some mental health days from social media. Yeah, I understand that, Jay. Social media lately has been absolutely atrocious. And the weird thing is there's so much crap on social media right now, you don't even know what to believe anymore. And there's so much stuff from both sides with people just flat out not making sense that I'm over it. Jimi Hendrix was born on this day, 27th of November. Well, happy birthday to him. You know where I think we need to start though, to make a statement, is these judges that are letting these guys out that have been jailed 12, 13, 14 times plus. These judges that have been letting people out that have been jailed 72 times and convicted of something or seen for something illegal that they've done 72 times. And then the prosecuting attorneys recommend them to be locked up and not let back out on the streets, and the judge still lets them out on the street anyway, as if that's not a red flag. I think once it makes it to like 5 or 6 times of you being constantly locked up for shit that's blatantly your problem, then if that judge lets that person back out again, they need to be removed from their position, because they obviously can't judge, because their judgment sucks. This last guy, 72 times, had some kind of conviction or some kind of arrest or something going on, and the judge goes against the prosecuting attorney's wishes, puts him back out on the street under electronic monitoring, and then ends up dumping gas on a girl and lighting her on fire. Yeah, you tell me where the problem lays. And then go find out what type of life and what type of affiliation these judges have. And it all starts to explain itself, why it's going on. There's a problem for sure. But the problem, we need to start fixing it at surface level. Yes, exactly. Just like Jay said, these guys have serious mental conditions that either were never addressed, or they were diagnosed and then things were swept under the rug instead of holding them and actually treating them, because they can't make their decisions on their own, especially when they're diagnosed with schizophrenia and different types of mental conditions. It's just, why are we shutting down mental institutions and taking money and putting it into everything else other than what we should be using it for? And that's making sure people are safe and sane, and if they can't be sane, put away so they can be treated, and if they can't be treated, sorry. You're too much of a danger to society. You can't be living with everybody else if you're going to take lives by pouring gasoline on them and lighting them on fire, and then thinking that it's funny. I mean, people like that shouldn't even be in society living with everybody else. Just shouldn't happen. But these judges put them right back on the street to do that. And then these governors and mayors, like we have here in the city of Chicago, want to turn around and do speeches like, oh, bigotry and racism, this is why all this is going on, and it's the police and the system. Yeah, fix it then. Fix it, you idiots. It almost seems like the more controversy they can stir up, the more things that they can do to get people in their emotions and stuff like that, the more their agenda is being pushed. Drugs smuggled in prison. Hell, what was it the other day? I was watching a thing on the news that popped up and said now it's been confirmed that Canadian Olympian medal or Olympian hockey player such and such is the kingpin drug smuggling ring from Mexico through the United States into Canada. He's the head guy, the main guy calling the shots. And I'm like, what? A freaking Olympian Canadian hockey player, one of the largest drug kingpins of all time. Who would have thought? And they've known about this. And they just started putting the pieces together to figure out, and they can't catch him. Jocko, happy Thanksgiving, man. Danzilla, they're pointing the finger. Absolutely. How warm does your heater get your garage? I put a little insulation in the ceiling in your garage, and it made a huge difference. Yeah, I got to finish this ceiling, but the torpedo heater in the back that you see over here in the corner, that's like 30 to 60,000 BTUs. I think it says that little sucker gets the garage hot, even when it's down to 0 degrees in like 10, 15 minutes, it's already warm. The two diesel heaters, if I run them together and it's like, 15, 20 degrees in the garage, it might get it to 50 degrees if I'm lucky. Now, if it's like a 30, 40 degree day, these two little diesel heaters will get me right at about 60, 65 degrees, pretty comfortable temperature. Right now, I think it's probably in the 50s in here, which is comfortable because I'm working out. Let's see here. Got to get rid of the flabbiness on the chest. I'm still trying to get rid of it. It's taking forever to get going. It's one of my biggest insecurities. But it's working. The arms, all the jiggly fat that used to be on the arms, it's gone. The jelly roll is starting to almost disappear. And then the saggy wings on the side by my chest, they used to be freaking huge. They've shrunk like crazy. So I'd probably say I'm not going to see it completely gone until I'm at least maybe close to being gone. At least another 40, 50 pounds before I'm going to see any kind of real serious results in that area, because it seems like the fat around my chest is the last thing that's actually being touched. My waist and my legs are slimming down like crazy. Good morning. Good morning. Hector, how the Las Vegas University got caught helping cartel, only strong survive. Peace, love. Yeah, well, you know what? This more and more I'm seeing of this stuff going on. My electric does a good job keeping temp points warm. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Satan's rage. Oy. Jay said all racist trolls online only care about the narrative. They always point the finger with mental health when it comes to stuff like this, especially these right-wing media pages. Jay, you got to get off the right-wing stuff, man. You're so hell-bent on right-wing stuff that it's unreal lately. It's like every time you have something to say, it's right-wing, right-wing, right-wing. I'm kind of getting tired of talking about it. I don't know, brother. You can say what you want, but it seems like for you to be an independent, you sure are heavily hell-bent on attacking the right wing or criticizing the right wing. It's not right-wing judges that are letting these people go. It's not right-wing judges that are making these laws and stuff like that that allow these people to just walk the street after being arrested 72 times. It's not right-wing judges that are going out there and setting little white girls on fire on city transportation. It's not right-wing judges that are attacking people in the streets at 300 because they want to perform some kind of shit show in the streets and then shoot 9 people and 1 person die. It's not right-wing judges that are out here in these neighborhoods that are middle school kids mobbing a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a mother trying to get them home from school because they've been reported multiple times to the school, and the school have done nothing about it. It's not right-wing judges that are out here killing metal workers by smashing their head in with sledgehammers after they've been reported to HR over and over and over again, and yet nothing gets done, and then the girl ends up losing her life because somebody was insane and wasn't taking things seriously. Yeah, but you don't, though. That's the thing, Jay. You know what? Let's call it what it is. You can talk about Democrats all, but you don't. That's the thing. I've barely ever heard you criticize them. I've always shot you straight, even when we've had disagreements and even probably didn't want to talk to each other sometimes, but we always figured it out. And I'm shooting you straight now. The fact of the matter is you look really biased because those other things don't come up in your conversation about Democrats or liberal policies or any of that. Look at the 2 National Guard guys that died in D.C. Look what happened there. It was a freaking Afghan that was let in here that did it, and then look at all the people that follow the Democratic Party and the liberal side. Go on TikTok and start scrolling and see who they are affiliated with and see who they follow. It's progressive leftism. It's these extreme people, especially young people, I would say, from their teens all the way to their mid to late 30s, and even higher if you're in the nursing field or the teachers union or anything to do with teachers, all the way till they're 50, 60 years old, supporting 2 National Guardsmen dying yesterday because they think these people doing their job and what they were told is just for them to get killed. There was just a black man that I was watching this morning at 3:30 when I was up having my coffee and stuff like that, and he was like, "Good, I'm glad they died, because now maybe you'll stop trying to attack people that are doing nothing wrong and taking their freedoms and stuff away by following a tyrannical government that's giving you unjust orders, unlawful orders, and maybe this will set a message. Maybe more of them should die in progress of making a statement." And he was really supporting this. And there were so many other people just like him doing the same thing. His comment section was full of minority liberals that were promoting the exact same message that he had, which is extremely sad. That the guy called it, he got kirked. These 2 National Guardsmen got kirked. You tell me there's not a problem more on one side than the other. It's clear, it's night and day. It's as clear as it possibly can be. But people don't want to admit it. People that don't follow a specific agenda, or they are on a specific agenda, don't want to admit it. I don't agree with AOC, and anyone that knows me knows such, but I think she is awesome for giving away 1,600 plus turkey meals to needy New Yorkers. She did it in person, on foot, spent many hours at it. Yeah, I mean, I like that about that. That's awesome. But when people do and damage what she's already damaged, they do kind things for other people to kind of make themselves look good, and maybe it'll change the minds of a few people. So 1,600 turkeys might help 1,600 people, but it might help her even more because it's changing the minds of some people because of the snake that she is. So yeah, she did a good thing, but do you think she did a good thing because it was out of the kindness of her heart? She's one of the most nasty, evil, vile people that I've ever seen. So nothing that she does good will ever make me think that she's a good person. Man. It's all manipulation, right? It's just like Levin said. It's all for optics. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too, Monica. But then again, how many people on the right? Here we go again. But then again, how many people on the right poked fun at the death of black people? Trayvon Martin, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin. You know what? If you're going to bring stuff up like that, then you need to go actually do all the research on those cases, because a lot of those cases got blown out of proportion because not everybody waited until the facts came out. Not everybody waited until the true stories about what actually came out and the investigative stories that people found out and went back and talked to their loved ones and their friends and stuff like that and found out the truths on all that the media didn't want to put out. Oh, the right is still trolling George Floyd to this day. What about George Floyd? The dude overdosed, had tons of drugs in his system. He couldn't breathe, not because an officer's knee was in his neck. It was because he overdosed on drugs and couldn't absorb oxygen properly. I mean, what do you want? See, this is what I'm talking about, Jay. I'm talking about you want to mention all these cases because you're so caught up in the media that makes you feel good about the just that you feel, why all these things should be done, but yet you're not keeping up on top of like all the data. Was it actually true what happened? Did things play out exactly the way that they say they did? No, they didn't. But mainstream media says this, so then that's what people believe. And once they get attached to a cause, they don't want to let it go. George Floyd was a terrible person. He was not a good father. He was in and out of jail his entire life. He was trying to use counterfeit money to purchase something. The police showed up, got him out of his car. He was paranoid from the beginning. You could tell he either swallowed something or he was so scared of what was going to happen to him, scared of the police and scared of what he swallowed. And then as he's sitting up against the wall in the building that nobody really talked about, this stuff, you can see him drop a big-ass sack on the ground right underneath him as the camera went to pan away, the body camera went to pan away, and they stood him up. He dropped drugs on the ground where they had him up against the wall. Then they took him to the cop car, and he's fighting to get into the cop car the entire time. And then once he gets into the cop car, he's kicking and pushing the cops and everything else. You think at that point they're supposed to care about him? I mean, ideally, yes, but you think as a human being, when somebody's striking you and hitting you and stuff because you've done something illegal, we're supposed to actually care about you? And then they get him out on the ground, and he can talk the whole entire time while he's saying, I can't breathe, and he's still talking while he says he can't breathe. Well, obviously you can because you're talking. What's going on is you're not absorbing oxygen properly because you've overdosed on drugs. And he passed away. That wasn't going to change. And then the family used the entire situation to make millions of dollars worth of money. And then all of the black liberal freaking influencers and stuff came out. The Al Sharptons and the liberal media and stuff like that all wanted to come coattail off of what happened and make tons of money off of it, and they did as well. So, if we're going to talk about facts, let's talk about facts. Let's not bring something up just to make people feel bad about something. But facts, you can't lie about that. And what ends up happening is you get emotionally attached to something and you don't want to let it go because you've believed it for so long you never want to explore the actual truth. Hell, I just saw something the other day where they're trying to reopen this case. They're trying to reopen this case to go after the medical records of this guy to actually say without a shadow of a doubt, this was in his system. There was no way he was going to make it anyway. It wasn't that he couldn't breathe. His lungs weren't absorbing oxygen properly. He had way too much drugs, fentanyl and stuff in his system, whatever it was. They're wanting to open this case back again to retry this whole medical outcome and actually to get this dude dropped of the charges, which may end up happening. It's funny how the liberal media will idolize somebody that has never done anything for society, has never changed anybody's life, has never done anything for anybody, not even his own family, his own children, has been a criminal his entire life. The liberal media and the Democratic Party will take this person and capitalize off of them not being here or some kind of wrongdoing done, make a ton of money on it, grow their networks, their channels and stuff because they're doing the right thing. And then when it comes to somebody that changed thousands upon thousands of Christians' lives, brought them closer to God, their walk with God, how to be a better man, how to be a better husband, regardless of what they believed in, then that person dies and it's like, fuck that guy. He changed people's lives for the better. He was actually a part of people's lives. He gave a ton of his time and money to other people, but they don't care about that guy. They care about the criminal, the unjust criminal that fits their narrative, which is the sad part. So you can go ahead and bring up all those people that you brought up, but when you actually go back and watch the documentaries on what happened to those guys, you actually start understanding a lot more than what you thought, and that it didn't happen exactly the way they said it did. Just like January 6th. Everybody wants to talk about these people being insurrectionists and stuff in January 6th, but the government's already released hard information that there were 200 FBI agents on the ground while all of this was going on. 200 FBI agents in the mix of all these people for January 6th that were going on. And you mean to tell me 200 armed agents couldn't stop what was going on? No, that's not what happened. They were antagonizing it. Our three-letter agencies have been known to do this type of stuff. Create propaganda, create chaos, stir up things, get in peaceful protests and make them worse. Just to kind of figure out, see who's on their side, who's going to be the yes man, who's not going to be the yes man, and how to stir up as much chaos as possible. So for anybody out there that's still thinking, oh, I know what happened January 6th, it was just a bunch of white supremacist MAGA supporters that went out there and tried to storm a Capitol building, and then this girl, Ashley Babbitt, died. No, that's not how it happened. It happened because there were literally government agencies on the ground with these guys doing this type of stuff. There were black clothed, black padded, they had elbow pads, shoulder pads, helmets on, chest pads, knee pads, and some of the video footage, you can see these guys running in and out of the crowd. They run into the crowd, they throw a bunch of stuff, they push people around and stuff like that. It gets so overwhelming with people being in a tight space, they can't breathe right, they back out. The two or three of them take turns, they get in, they jump back out, they get in, they jump back out. Who were they? Antifa. But we don't want to talk about that stuff. What were the MAGA Trump supporters doing is the guy was trying to bash open the window and stuff like that. And he was trying to cover his face and he had his toboggan on. They were grabbing the guy and they were trying to rip him away from the window saying, stop, 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 stop. But there were 2 or 3 of them in a crowd right there that were doing the same damn thing. What about the officer that died? Yet his family comes out later and was like, what are you guys talking about? He didn't die in the hospital. He went to the hospital because he got banged up. But dude already had a heart condition. He didn't die in the hospital because of what happened at the Capitol building. But people still hold on to that because it touches them. It makes them feel in their emotions and stuff. And that's what they can use to attack the other side of the spectrum that they don't believe in. People don't do their research. Jay, you're out of control, dude. Yeah, you're off your rocker, man. Again, you're just proving my point, dude. You're proving my point, and it makes me not even want to talk politics with you because it's the same old dog and pony show with you. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. If I didn't say good morning to you and you said good morning, then good morning. Most of my coworkers hate Trump. What are we even talking about? You guys, are you sure that you're not? Okay. I mean, let's be real. Why are we flying the American flag half-staff for a non-government official, but a right-wing rage baiter? Makes more sense. Makes no sense. How did his death overshadow 9/11? Okay, so what? For one, what are you talking about? I have a feeling. I have a feeling you're about to piss me off. That's for sure. I mean, let's be real. Why are we flying an American flag half-staff for a non-government official, but a right-wing rage baiter? Well, I guess you missed the part, Jay. Your common sense isn't common sensing today, and it's gonna piss me off. I'm just telling you, it's the perfect day to do it right now because you're starting to get me there. Charlie wasn't just a non-rage or a non-government official. Flying the flag half-staff is not just for government officials. I don't know how fucking more common sense that this has to be. It's for somebody or something that really impacts the United States of America. And Charlie had millions of followers. He'd reach out to so many college students and gave them a voice, regardless if you liked what he was saying or not. There's a ton of the black community that believes the exact opposite of what you believe. They actually understood what he was talking about. They didn't think the things that he said was racist, that it brought thought. It was hard thought. It was hard conversation. You know, you could say what you want, and I understand, and I see some of what you say. But when you're going to start comparing apples to oranges, and you're going to start trying to justify why you believe the way you believe, but not bring common sense and rationality in with your statement, that's just going to piss me off. I mean, you can answer your own questions, but you're not doing it. You're acting like you actually have something to base it a defense or a discussion or an argument on, and it's absolutely nonsense. His death didn't overshadow 9/11. It's the fact that it just happened, and 9/11 happened a long time ago. People still are affected by that. But this was new, and it was fresh, and it made millions of people emotional and stuff. That's why they covered it. Why are you being so insensitive towards that? Are you really trying to see what type of outcome you're going to get this morning by not making sense, not being sensitive to situations, and not trying to justify in a rational manner why you believe the way you believe? I mean, if that's what you're after, that's exactly what you're going to end up getting. And you're going to piss a lot of people off in the process. And if that's your goal, is to just piss people off and not make sense, and not because you're trying to justify why you believe, then we shouldn't have this conversation. Then maybe you shouldn't be here in this conversation if that's how you feel. Happy Thanksgiving there, buddy. Well, Jay's not really trolling. Jay just believes a specific way, and Jay likes to bring up conversation and start topics and stuff like that in his own way, except he doesn't do it sometimes in a very rational, thought out manner. Sometimes we have really good conversation based on what Jay's opinions are, and then other times you have to understand, and I'm not talking down to you, Jay. Jay's young. He's very young. I'm 40 years old. Let's just put it, I'm almost twice his age. Let's just put it that way. Jay's still got a lot to learn about life and stuff in general, and a lot to experience. That doesn't mean he's stupid, and that doesn't mean his opinions don't matter, because they very much do. But when I hear young people talking like he does, sometimes I have to take that into consideration and be like, you know what, they really haven't experienced enough of life in general to be completely informed on what they're talking about. They haven't seen and been through the different presidents like a lot of us have, to know the ins and outs of what happened and how society was. So I sometimes take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes I let it get to me. So and I'm not discrediting his thought process at all, because his thought process is very valid. I love the hell out of the guy. I always will. Does he get to me and piss me off sometimes? Yeah, he does. But it's just something that I deal with. Sometimes I deal with it. Other times I just don't want to hear it. Guys, he's not a troll. Let's stop with the troll comments. He's not a troll. He's a moderator of mine, and I've known the guy literally for years, even before that. He's not, but I do respect other people's freedom of speech. And sometimes freedom of speech has consequences, which that consequence may be today that I'm just flat out not going to talk about Jay's comments, but I'm also not going to silence Jay. I'm not gonna get to a point where he doesn't have a voice here. He's always gonna have a voice here, regardless of what his opinion is. I'm just gonna stop responding to comments when they don't sound rational. He's not being disrespectful to me, and I've made a pact with you guys, and I've made a promise to you guys. If somebody's not being disrespectful to us and calling us names and stuff like that, civil discourse is always welcome here. Disagreeing with me is always welcome here. Telling me that I'm wrong about something is always welcome here. But have something to back up why you're doing or why you're saying what you're saying. Well, you're not getting your point across now. See, that seems hypocritical on your part. You already know how I felt about Charlie Kirk, and I don't care to make people mad. He made lots of people mad. You can get your point across without making people mad. I find the pot calling the kettle black here, Jay, because you're not doing a very good job of that. At all. You're not. I think you're actually trying to piss people off. And your message today, it's not very thought out. It just seems kind of like jumbled up, and you're just saying stuff right now, and that's the hard part. That I'm wanting to shut down and not even respond to you, because you're not thinking it out. You're not processing what's being said. You're automatically on the defensive, saying, "Oh, well, you're talking about Democrats. Well, I got to say something about a Republican. Oh, you're talking about a conservative or this. I got to say something about that issue, but I got to say the exact opposite." It seems like that's exactly what you're doing, instead of like, let's talk about the topic that you just brought up. Let's break down what actually happened and what our thoughts were. You clearly are not doing that today. Wee. Oh. You good, Jay? Yeah, I'm listening to Candace. I used to listen to her all the time, but I've stopped listening to her as much lately just because she sounds ridiculous sometimes, but she does have some good points, and I've lost touch with her, to be honest with you. I'm not so believing in a lot of the things that she says anymore, but that's my own doubts, and I'm not going to force that on other people. Once he's certified, I would say they don't really look at certifications as much as they look at experience. So certifications help, but it's experience that's more qualified than the certifications. The certifications help you justify on paper why you're doing the job and why you're eligible to do the job. The experience speaks for the number of years and the amount of times and the amount of interactions that you may have had with specific vehicles and objects in order to become proficient in a specific set of tasks and skills. Certifications don't do that. So it's more time than anything that matters. And then the certifications kind of tie it in. So just certifications alone doesn't really open opportunities up for you. It's more along the lines of the experience that you have. Certifications help get you in the door and maybe a few dollars more than a lower entry level guy, but not much more. And then you got to work your way up. So it's hard to say. They used to say get the paper credentials. It means a lot. That's going to help you get the jobs. And to an extent, that was the thought process, and it somewhat would be right. But I find that's not the process anymore, because there are so many technicians needed in this field in general that even a lot of these dealerships are willing to accept just whatever comes through the door that looks like it might be somewhat fit for the job. And certifications a lot of times is not necessary. What are my thoughts on Marjorie Greene Taylor? I don't know. I mean, I never really followed her too much. I thought she was kind of cool at times, but then other times I thought she was kind of a ditz. I don't know what's really going on between her and Trump right now. I just know she doesn't like Trump, and all of a sudden, and then Trump doesn't like her, and I don't really know. This is a Easy Curl bar. I've loved using these for years, but I kind of went without it for months. Then I bought a new one, and I really like this one. It doesn't tear up my hands as bad. Um, I've got about 100 pounds right now on the bar, with the bar and everything total. And this is normally a pretty good starting working weight for me, where I get pretty serious. And I end up switching from biceps to mainly just the triceps, because I like to overload my triceps. It's just how I really love doing these workouts. Ooh-wee. Jenna says the left-wing ideology is destroying America. I see so many people walking around still with their heads in the clouds. Well, yeah. What's he doing, Jay? What did you mean by that? John, I responded to the wrong comment and don't do that. What do you mean don't do what? AOC had all the donations going to Act Blue. She did a little bit and then lied about the donations for turkeys. Well, I figured if she's doing something like that, as dirty as she is, she's got something going on. I have been master certified for 25 years, rare occasion. My certs even come up. I also advanced level certified in 4 categories, L1 through L4. Still must be able to hands-on. Rest is paper. This was deceptive, and now all who donated can write it off because it's a political donation. 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Do you know why? Listen twice as much as you speak. I'll answer for you. Oh, feels good. I like when I start getting up there in the weight. I normally see guys finish at this weight if they can even do it. But these are the exercises I've always been really strong at. Yeah, that feels good. That feels real good. Should I throw the 45s on there? Throw the 45s on there and get a nice little couple last few sets? Maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I should. Who says put the 45s on there and do them? I'll do it. Whew. Jay, chill, man. Chill. Both of you guys, please relax, please. We're getting a little over the top there, Jay. Please chill. I'm just okay. John and Jay, squash it. Squash the beef. I ain't trying to hear all that this morning. Please. Do 45s, I'll do 45s. 45 bumpers or 45 steel? Jody, Happy Turkey Day. What are we doing? Bumpers or steels? Oh, steel. He wants to hear the clanging banging. He wants the 45s. Well, we're going to do the 45. He wants the 45s. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Can somebody say lightweight? Did I hear they recalled Butterball turkeys? No, I haven't. John, please, buddy. John and Jay both. Squash this shit, man. I'm not wanting to hear this right now. Seriously. Just be done with it. Yeah, so. Hope you have a great Thanksgiving too, Jody. Do you like being a used car dealer tech more than being mainly working on the car line? I never worked for a dealer. I would think it would get boring. I like working for a dealer because of the structure. But I love working on a different volume of cars and variety of cars. I typically get more cars in and out in a day than the other guys do because of what I do. I loved seeing the same thing over and over and over again because it made me efficient at finding the problems and being able to correct them really fast and identify specific trends that were going on with vehicles. But also at the same time, I love seeing different cars and driving different cars and getting a feel for different cars. So I think I much enjoy the variety side more than just the same car over and over again. But I definitely specialized more in Ford stuff than, like, you could take an independent tech and put him next to me versus a mainline tech at a dealership. And if he was working on the same Fords that I was working on, I would outwork him every day, all day. 2 to 3 times faster than him on most jobs. But when it came to a variety of cars and being able to help on more than just what I specialized in, that guy would walk all over me. You know, it's just the fact of the matter. You either get a variety of experience and keep trying to grind and get smarter and smarter and smarter, but never specialize in anything, theoretically, or you work on the same car line, manufacturer over and over and over again, and you end up specializing in that product, learning the programming systems, learning the ins and outs of how to do XYZ whenever there's problems that independent guys, they never really get to see. So that's why a lot of guys that are on the independent side that are extremely smart will reach out to me whenever they run into an issue with a Ford that they can't figure out because I've probably already seen it. They forgot to butter the balls. What is a good starter Ford truck or SUV for detailing business? Starter Ford truck or SUV for a detailing business for the year 2026. Dan, how do you smoke your turkey, man? Because I want to learn. I got 2 that are thawing out right now, and I want to learn how to smoke it the right way. I only smoked 2 the other day, and I kind of still had some ice in the middle, and because it took so long to get them up to temperature, they dried out, unfortunately. They dried out a little bit more than what I would have liked. They were still good, but I cut them up and I gave them to families for the holidays that were in need. So I would think, yeah, like a Ford Transit Connect for a detail business. A lot of these new aftermarket radios, Jay, they're plug and play, man. They make it so easy. You don't got to cut wires and stuff anymore. You got to do any of that. Let me get this in before I start to lose my pump, and then I got to start all over again. I'm gonna do these 45s real quick. I would say if you're gonna go with a van type, then you're gonna want to hold more stuff. Then a Transit Connect would be perfect. But if you're wanting a truck that's gonna be the most reliable and most cost effective to drive, a little Ford Ranger wouldn't be bad. If you wanted something half ton wise, like my F-150, 15 to 17 F-150 with a 2.7 EcoBoost or the 5 liter and the 6-speed would be perfect. But a Transit Connect van would be the best that you can do for detailing for sure. There's so many detailing guys that operate their business out of a little Transit Connect, and it's just perfect for what they do. Okay. 45s. Okay. Ah. 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 Okay. So you'll have to join the wires. Oh, you said it's plug and play, but you still have to join wires? Then it's not plug and play then. Yeah, I mean it's maybe mainly plug and play, but if you have to join wires from a kit, then it's not completely plug and play. The plug and play ones all just snap right in. There's no joining wires. Well, they are, John. The Ford Rangers are much larger, much wider. They sit taller. They have a heavier duty towing capacity because they went to a, what's that axle called? Well, where the bearing is on the outside of the axle. Is that a load or a floating axle or something? Is that what it's called? I forget what they're called. But the Rangers have an axle assembly with the bearing on the outside, and then it's bolted through the tube, and the spline shaft goes into the rear end, and the 4 bolts that hold it on actually make the assembly stronger because it's not a little C-clip that's holding it in by itself anymore, and the bearings on the outside carrying the load better than the inside, so it can actually handle more weight and be used in a heavier duty capacity. So they really upgraded the Ranger quite a bit compared to what it used to be. Oh, steering wheel control. That's nice. It's nice when you're able to utilize the steering wheel controller. Keep it. Floating axle. Full floating, not semi-floating. I forgot what that was called. I think I want to do some little bent over row. Not kind of rows, but a little bit like upright rows. I want to see how it feels first. My shoulder's kind of hurting me. All right. That felt pretty good. Happy Thanksgiving, lady. Mainly use Apple CarPlay, but it supports 4G and GPS, and I watch YouTube videos on it. Nice. I still don't even know how to use mine completely yet. The last one that I put in that kept the steering wheel controls was called an iDoing Tesla screen. It's like a, but it's by the company iDoing, I-D-O-I-N-G. And then before that was Eonon, E-O-N-O-N. They keep steering wheel controls and they make plug and play. Ow. Oy. Well, they did look tacky to me at first until I put it in my truck, and then with my truck being as big as it is, it doesn't look so tacky. Happy Thanksgiving, Metal. How are the 2018 Focus ST 6-speed manual inline 4 turbo? They're pretty good, pretty solid. They didn't really have all the problems the other 2-liter turbos did. They're actually pretty solid. Just take care of them. Don't beat on them all the time, but they're fun cars, and they're solid. Okay. 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 7 to 15 Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V.
for me, CRV. After, but the most recent RAV4s, they look really nice and they're fun to drive. Focus ST with 110 on it, so good. It's not a terrible price in today's market. It's not. That's actually a pretty good price, to be honest with you. I bet you'd probably get it for like 75 if you really tried. But 85, that's not a bad price. Especially if they kept up on the maintenance, I would buy it. I smoked a turkey at 250 for 30 minutes per pound. I let it sit out the first day and thaw. Third day, rinse in cavity good water and inject with your marinade. 250, 30 minutes a pound. Wash it out, third day, and inject. Okay. Only problem, I don't know how to drive stick. You'll learn fast, man. Rob's World. Rob, what do you know about the independent shop? Can you explain to me what you know about the independent shop and where have you been since the independent shop? If you're not a frequenting flyer here, I'm concerned with the personal questions. I'll answer your question. I don't got a problem with that, but I want to know where you've been on how you don't know what's going on with the shop, because there's so much information on what's been going on with the shop and probably dozens of videos where I've spoke about it that it's like just repeating myself all over again. So I'm trying to figure out where you've been in relation to where you've seen me with the shop and where I'm at now, because the shop issue has been dealt with and buried a year and a half now. Happy Turkey Day to you too. Okay. The shop, just to go ahead and answer your question, since you obviously asked it, the shop's, well, why didn't you say how is the shop doing without me? Why'd you ask that way? It seems like you're trying to troll me by doing it the way you did. I hate that question. I really do, because nobody pays attention. It's like, if you're going to come ask personal questions and stuff like that, I've already addressed this I don't know how many times. And it just kind of gets me in my feels, because I've already addressed this. I've talked about this so much, and if you're a frequent flyer, you should know these things. I expect that from people that follow me. They're not doing good, man. They're not. They're not doing good at all. They're just barely able to sustain. A bunch of people have left there. There's only a few people working there now. They're struggling a little bit, but they're still in business. They're still working fine. They just couldn't afford somebody like me being there with the money that they were making. So when I came in, the shop was probably only pulling in maybe $35,000, $40,000 a month. By the time that I had spent 5 or 6, 7 months there, we'd got up to 70, 75,000, and that's just enough to clear the bills. So that's not enough to keep up with what was behind me. So after being there a year and a half, paying me $40 an hour to be the general manager and paying all the employees, even though I doubled the money, there was no money to put in marketing. And because there was no money to put in marketing, the shop wasn't growing. And with the shop not growing, and I've already done everything that I could do to make things better, I've almost doubled our income. It still wasn't enough to pull us out of the hole. And then with me sitting down talking to the main owners of the company, they didn't even want me to actually come on as a partner. So my buddy that actually owns the business, that was bringing me on as a business partner and general manager, didn't actually have the means to do so after I came on board. So I said, you know what? I'll do the best that I can while I'm here. I'll give it all that I got, and then I'm out when I find something better. And they understood. So they're still in business, but they're just barely making it, if even making it sometimes. There was just nothing there for me, man. There wasn't, unfortunately. There was no growth. There was no development. There's a lot of experience on the employee side and taking care of employees and managing, dealing with extended warranty companies and stuff like that. That was eye-opening. I got a lot of experience doing that. But when it come to learning and actually wrenching and stuff, there just wasn't a lot of opportunity there. And there was no benefits or anything, so I had to find something that benefited my family. And that wasn't it. $2,000 Impala SS for the same price. 173,000 miles. Absolutely not. Shop is tough to run. Shop I work for is 7 bays. We do 55,000 a week in service on average. Took a long time for the owner to get the right people to be able to do such. Good thing owner had a lot of cash. Well, that's the thing. You got to come to the table with a lot of money, because if you don't, you're not going to make it. It's going to take years. Years upon years upon years. So, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I hated leaving my buddy like that. You know, he's my best. I thought he was my best friend. I mean, anyhow, he's my best friend. So, he honestly came to me and was very honest with me one day and said, "Look, man, I love what you're doing here. I love you. You're helping me. Love you like a brother, kind of thing. I just can't afford you right now because we don't have the money to keep you as a general manager. But if you want to go on the floor and be a tech and work flat rate, I wouldn't mind that. That would actually work out better for me, because then I'd have an experienced tech on the floor that could get the shop together." Well, with the type of work that was coming in, being shit work all the time and always waiting for our money to come in, I wasn't going to do that. The clientele in that area is not good for a flat rate tech. Hell, we would sit on S-Class Mercedes for months and months and months and months without even getting paid or even getting approvals on jobs. We would take in Land Rovers, Range Rovers, Jaguars and stuff. People end up in jail. No communication, no nothing. Well, this guy's he's got everything diagnosed and he's ready to start working on it, and can't start working on it while it's taking up space in the lot. And the person's in jail. We don't even know who or what or why or what happened. We end up having their car towed away, and then it's a big fiasco. So it was just one of those things where that type of environment is not good for a flat rate tech. Ooh, buddy. I think at this point, I'm calling it quits with the weights. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving. Woke up to a dang blizzard here. Wow. We don't got nothing here. Got leaves on the ground that we're still trying to pick up. Freaking wind starts blowing, we get a storm or something like that, all the leaves end up on the ground, we pick it up. Then it rains, everything gets wet, can't pick the leaves and stuff up. You gotta wait 2 or 3 days. Go to pick those leaves up. Got them almost all cleaned up, waiting for the last little push of leaves to come off. Because by the end of November, if we don't get all the leaves out to the road and consolidated, they won't pick up the leaves and they'll be stuck in the yard rotting or in the can rotting until next year, which I hate that, and I will not have that. I don't care if I got to put them in garbage bags and put them in the regular garbage. I don't want them softening up the ground and rotting here on the property. So yeah, hopefully we get that storm that weekend. This weekend. Well, I actually got a what is it called? A shovel snowblower? It's a snowblower. I think I don't know if I've showed you guys or not, but it's a. Let me shut this heater off. Stop heating. It's a snowblower that has a motor in the end of it, and it's got a snowblower shovel. Or it's a shovel with a motor on the end of it, and it's got a big thick plastic blade that spins and shoots snow out the top. And it's a company, the manufacturer of it. It's, well, the name on it is Queso, Q-E-S-O, Queso or something like that. But it comes from a company called like Melin, and that's their sister brand to their product, and it uses DeWalt batteries. And then I've got another company sending me a snow shovel snow blower. It comes with two 40-volt batteries. So I brought the 10 amp hour battery from DeWalt home to use on the 20-volt snow shovel. And then I want to compare it to the 40-volt that's coming in, and we can do a little shootout between the two to see which one works better, which one charges faster, yada yada yada. You really want me to get on a live stream so I can be able to speak without all of you thinking I'm trying to rage bait? I can articulate better rather than typing. Well, I get that, Jay. Sometimes it just doesn't work out though, man. You know, that would mean that I have to set specific time aside that I typically don't know that I have, where it's random whenever I feel like doing my videos. And then I'd have to get you on immediately, and you'd have to be immediately ready, or we'd have to pre-plan everything, which I honestly, this time of year, I'm not trying to pre-plan anything. It's not that I don't want you to speak or anything like that. I already have enough on my plate as it is. I want things to be just nice and easy. When I'm ready to jump on, I'm ready to jump on without pre-planning stuff. I just, right now, don't want to do it. That's all. It's just more of a personal thing than anything, and I just don't have time and don't want to do it. Like, I want to talk to you, and I'd love to get you on live stream, but there's a process that you have to do. Once you go live, it says invite person. Then that person has to be ready to accept within a specific time frame. And if that person's not going to accept right away or be ready, then I have to sit there, reset up the stream, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. I'm just not willing to go through all that. As many times as I've heard people say, "Oh no, I'll be ready, I'll be ready," or "Yeah, you know, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to do this, I'm ready to do that." Lately, people have been so indecisive, and they've got so much going on in their own personal lives lately that when people say they're ready, I just take it with a grain of salt, because I understand that there's a lot going on in people's lives right now. Oh, no, it's called a 12-inch cordless snow shovel. by Queso. Quess. No, Quesoo. And it's the model WRSSDW. Happy Thanksgiving, Mad Dog. You have no snow yet. Michigan is getting worse. Huh. I don't know. I think it's cold here. I don't know how cold it is exactly, but it's got to at least be in the 30s or something. Low 30s. Mid 30s, something like that. At least overnight. Anyhow, I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to have some more coffee, go in the house, and then we're going to get started with our Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I love the conversation today. You know, of course, there's always the possibility that things could get a little dicey at times, which that happens. We're all men. No reason to hold on to it once, men and women, sorry. No reason to hold on to it once we leave this conversation. Come back the next time with a fresh start. And I don't mean forget about what's being said. I'm just saying no reason to hold animosity towards somebody after this stream is over and we go on to the next one. So you guys be blessed. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. So does the snow shovel work well? I don't know yet. I got to get snow first. Eat good, man. I'm going to eat good, but I'm not going to eat all the foods that everybody else is going to eat. I'm not eating like potatoes and yams and all that other stuff. I'm just basically eating veggies and protein, and that's it. Nothing else. That's how I've been eating for the last 4 months, and that's how I'm going to continue to eat. The doctor, he was like, I can't wait to see. What he said was, I can't wait to see what you look like when you're 250. If you went from 380 almost to looking like you do now at just under 300, and it looks like you're a completely different person, and actually with clothes on and being dressed up, you can't even tell that you're a big guy. I can't wait to see what you look like when you're 250. You're going to be freaking, he said, you're going to be jacked, man. You're going to look like one of these fitness influencers or something. And I was like, I don't know about all that. I'm getting there, but I don't know about all that. So I just don't like to let the head grow too much, because if I start doing that, then I start sounding like some of these idiots, and that's definitely not me. So I appreciate y'all. I'm out. I'm gonna go blow these leaves out of the garage and then get inside and hang out with the family. Start the Ford and start the Suburban because it's really cold. The battery on the Ford is down to 45%, and then the battery on the Suburban says it's all the way down to 17%, which is concerning because I thought the battery was pretty healthy in the Suburban. So, yeah, anyhow, I'm going to figure that out and get at it. So, you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'm out of here. I love y'all. Be blessed.